my timeline has been going nutty mode on One Piece. Okay? It has been crazy. There's like a million different One Piece TikToks that have gone hella viral. Okay? Like insanely viral. And it's completely out of nowhere. I don't even know what this is about. But I guess Trash Taste, or not just Trash Taste, but like the anime man, Joey, has been under fire lately because I think he made like a YouTube video or something where he was like talking about anime tourists or some shit like that. And basically, they've been yelling at him over that. They've been yelling at Trash Taste over that. And in the process of like getting mad at Trash Taste for their trash takes on anime, I guess, is the way that things are going. And I don't know what he did. I have no idea what he did. Literally don't understand. But like my For You page has been just all this. And these all have like 100K likes, 80K likes. Is crazy. They got like millions of views. And basically what happened is they are using an old clip from my first Trash Taste, slot that I did, where I talked about how One Piece is political. Now, the irony there is that the dudes, including Connor, were just kind of around. They weren't like, they understood that it was political, but people are basically just using this like short clip to just dunk on all of them, to be like, these guys are idiots. They don't understand. I don't even think that they were like, they were, you know, they were just like playing along. They weren't like aggressively debating me on it or some shit like that. But it doesn't even matter, to be honest. I think they were reacting that way for the content. Yeah, but it's just it's completely out of my hands. We get it, they're your friends. No, that's the other thing. Bro, what are you talking about? They got, last time I went on Trash Taste when I was in Japan, this is from the first time I went on Trash Taste. The last time I went on Trash Taste when I was in Japan, it got brigaded into oblivion by Asmongold, Ethan Klein, and Destiny Dick Riders and Trash Taste's own fan base to be like, this guy's a terrorist. Why the would you have a terrorist on? They went crazy. They were like trying to dox the people that work on the background at Trash Taste. And they got so scared from that brigading that they literally came out and were like, we're never letting Hasan on Trash Taste ever again. So people don't even know what the actual reason is. No, they got yelled at. And I never said a damn thing either. I was like, all right, well, all I did was, hey guys, I was on this episode. Go show it love. I don't even have any smoke for these dudes anyway. I don't, you know, it's fine. They're nice people. I don't really give a shit. I'm used to it, right? Wait, so Connor doesn't fuck with you no more? No, not even. It's not like that at all. Not even a little bit. But like in my line of work, in my business, with what I do, I know that there are a lot of quote unquote apolitical that can present themselves as like fans of whatever particular thing that they're invested in, to make it seem like they just have a real point of contention, a real point of anger against me. And they can present it in a way that like at the time will freak people out. And that's precisely what happened. What ended up happening in that situation was they so heavily brigaded that and then celebrated the brigading too. They did it openly, that these guys literally turned around and were like, yeah, we're never going to let him on. I don't even know who brigaded. I think Hasan brigaded it. And I was like, brigaded it? I'm on the episode. I just said, go show the podcast some love. But in any case, you know, I don't have any issues with these guys, but I do think it's kind of funny that like everyone is using the one time where they were in an interest of making content out of it. Like they were just going back and forth on it. The Australian news is literally covering it. Wait, what?
Why is the One Piece flag flying?
Yeah, that's okay. Let's just start here first, and then we'll get to the Australian news side.
I mean, he literally is. I mean, he's fighting. I hate that you're kind of... Hasan was banned from coming back to the Trash Taste podcast after that episode because their audience.
That's not true. That it wasn't that episode. That was I was on again. I was I was banned after the second time I went on.
Was so up in arms that he would dare to bring the political allegory that is One Piece to the forefront in those conversations. As someone who's been making videos for a short amount of time, it's actually easy to just talk about the different aspects of Nen in Hunter x Hunter. It's easy to talk about the different devil fruits. It's easy for me to respond to comments where people need me to clarify a fight between Hisoka and Crollo. What's hard is to go against the people that side with oppression or the people that are complacent to it, and they don't want you to bring it up. They don't want you to talk about it. They don't want you to take these kinds of stances. As far as I can tell, that is the Trash Taste podcast listenership. They would like to bury their head in the sand of happy-go-lucky rubber boy punching big dragon dude. They don't want to see that Kaido is a capitalist overthrow and a totalitarian regime that owns an entire island and is subjugating its people. They don't want to see these kinds of things because then it reflects reality back at them, and they want to escape from reality. They'd rather not pick a side. They'd rather not.
I think this is a decent assessment for a lot of the One Piece fandom that at the time got mad at me for saying this and was yelling at me. If you remember, a lot of like the big One Piece accounts that were that constantly rage bait didn't even care about what I was saying or the argument that I was making, and turned around and were just simply remember those like big blue check mark accounts on Twitter at the time. They were going hella aggro on me. They're like, Hasan called Luffy a terrorist. What is he, the one world government? They didn't even understand what I was saying. Like, I was like, he's a freedom fighter. I'm saying he's a freedom fighter. Like, what you would call someone a terrorist in the real world sometimes could also be a freedom fighter. Like, that's the point I was trying to make. But basically, a lot of people at the time were mad. But 2 years after that, at this stage, around the globe, the Straw Hat Pirates flag is now seen as like a symbol of resisting against oppressive governments internationally. Nepal, Indonesia, no matter where people go, there's One Piece flags at the pro-Palestine protests. It is straight up now seen as a flag by the youth. It is now seen as a flag by the youth to resist against unjustifiable systems of oppression. So I would say that this is quite literally one of my most resilient takes.
Advocate for people that need it. They would rather run away. And when you refuse to advocate for the people who need it the most, don't be alarmed when you are counted on the list with the oppressor by the oppressor. It is not only the people that are against oppression who will count you as against them. It is the people who are doing the oppression will count on the fact you will not speak up.
I think this dude's assessment is pretty correct, though. Trash Taste, really chill people. I used to watch them a lot. Anime audience, have a lot of right-wing people do. Very different from Connor, Joey, and Garn's politics. Comes with the territory a bit to self-censor, and also with the additional brigading. They just don't want to be harassed by Hasan haters, y'all. We see how nasty Hasan ops get, and they just want to protect their team and crew. Like, that was the real reason. That was definitely the reason. I can't stop people from feeling some type of way about that, especially because at the time, it's like I was getting my ass from 11 different directions, whether it be like the Israeli government, literally, or whether it be like a bunch of liberal content creators who were presenting me as a terrorist using the most Islamophobic sentiment that possibly could arrive at, to be like, he's a terrorist, he's a terrorist, he's a terrorist, over and over and over again. Now, of course, a lot of those people have shut the up now. Have you noticed? They've been mad quiet because it feels like it's Israel o'clock. Something I've noticed is Israel o'clock right now. That's what it feels like to me. So a lot of those apolitical centrist Andes who made it seem as though they were simply critiquing just the pro-Palestinian side, they've been quite quiet as of late. Just saying. So no, I don't have like you know, I don't have a lot of smoke for the Trash Taste boys in general. I'm just simply talking about the One Piece's political take. The One Piece's political take has been resilient. The One Piece is about revolutionary politics has been resilient. When is you? And it's so crazy because like one of the things that I talked to about Timothy Chalamet, who's just like a 19-year-old TikToker at the time. Turns out he's not a part of the Houthis, even though I initially thought, just like everybody else, that he could have been. Turns out he wasn't, right? That we found out in the interview. The one thing that everyone constantly talks about, like about how Hasan needs to be banned. Hasan needs to be banned. He interviewed a Houthi. Once again, I can't believe he brought up One Piece to the Houthi. I can't believe he brought up One Piece to the Houthi. Racist ass, bro. Racist ass vindication. If Israel's approval ratings are in the dirt today, what do you think people are going to look at and reflect on tomorrow? The more people recognize the reality of Israel's genocide, the more people are going to come to terms with why some people resist against said genocide in the most like non-violent ways possible too. But yeah, this is not a I told you so moment anyway. This is a moment to continue acting, to continue pushing. Okay?
Your audience will also desert you. I don't know if Lolly Man over here, the anime man, ever realized that he probably
This
had.
is like 3 minutes long. But yeah, my point is, it's funny that like there is like a little bit of miscommunication. I think there is a little bit of a wrong assessment here, because I don't even think that the Trash Taste podcast is like expressly right wing at all. They do have a very right wing audience, and I think that's probably the reason why they engage in self censorship. And not only that, but also that's the reason why they banned me. But it wasn't over the One Piece take. I'm just correcting the record. In any case, the One Piece takes like popping off. People talking about One Piece is political. One Piece is revolutionary politics. It's great. Another thing that I've seen is like a bunch of 4chan talking about a GI Robot. They're like on GI Robot, being like, GI Robot is actually so lame. The fact that people celebrate this like Nazi killing robot, they just don't understand. Like, people are just dumb as fuck. People are on GI Robot out there. What do you mean? He's just a robot that wants to kill Nazis. The problem. When did we get to a point where people don't immediately look at you and go, "You're being weird, dog. What do you mean? It's a Nazi killer. That's a good thing." This is what I don't understand. Like, they tried this with Wolfenstein. Nazis tried this with Wolfenstein. Remember when it came out, people were like, "Oh, this is a Nazi killing game. This is really fucked up." And everybody laughed at them. Everyone was like, "Shut the fuck up. What are you, a Nazi? Why are you offended by this?" And it kind of feels like we're at a stage now where people are just way more comfortable about being like, you actually shouldn't celebrate killing Nazis. What a deep shame for everyone. They're calling Indiana Jones woke now for also doing the same. How the fuck did we get here? Yeah, it's this
Funny thing about GR.
I can't stand this. This guy has been like, this guy used to also present himself as a liberal. And I think like this time around, because I remember we watched one of his videos when he was like, "I'm a liberal, and as a liberal, I can't stand Hasan Piker because he is a real problem for the cause of liberalism," or whatever the and now he's just straight up a neo-Nazi, like openly admitting that he's a goddamn neo-Nazi. I cannot believe it. Who would have thought people who present themselves as progressives, who constantly left bash, would be Nazis or neo-Nazis openly only a couple years later? Remember, this way back in the day used to talk about how he would talk about he would try to like attack me from the perspective of like a real progressive. He was like, I'm a liberal, a real progressive. Hasan is not a real progressive. Now this running around on people for celebrating GI robot killing Nazis and neo-Nazis. Any criticism equals Nazism? I mean, for this, a little bit, yeah. Yeah. If you're this bent out of shape over a fictional robot that kills Nazis, then you might be a Nazi. Something to consider. Maybe as a LARP, but why are you LARPing as a Nazi anyway? Yeah, if you want to know like the brigade, the brigading that went crazy over this was probably my least political. This was the second time I went on Trash Taste, and it was all of these like lolly ass Nazis like this. This dude is a Mexican, by the way. A Mexican neo-Nazi, straight up. Name is Hayasaka Aryan. Like, look, Hasan, I love sex trafficked girls, Piker. Man, Trash Taste fell off if y'all brought Hasan on. Heavy brigading. Do you guys think the Houthis like Luffy too? That is the real reason that I was banned from participating in Trash Taste. Anyway. But yeah. Very, very strange things happening in the world right now. Very, very strange. But it gives me a little bit of confidence that I think a lot of people are beginning to recognize exactly what's taking place, you know, whether it be Israel's genocide or whether it be the political nature of One Piece and the revolutionary politics inside of One Piece. I still find it odd that the anime community trends more right-wing. No, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. It's escapism. Japan is a very right-wing culture. And a lot of people see Japan as like the perfect society because of its xenophobic tendencies. Whether it be, also pedophilia too. There's that too. It makes a lot of sense. Japan is a ethno state. Having said that, however, of course, there are many Japanese people like Hideo Kojima or even Oda himself that have, or even what's his face? Studio Ghibli. Like, there are mad revolutionary Japanese people out there. Now, some of their politics might not be super in line, but yeah, Miyazaki as well. Hayao Miyazaki, not the best person in his own personal affairs, but his politics are very interesting. His politics are very great. He is a anti-AI, very worried about climate change, anti-imperialist, an open hater of the United States of America, anti-fascist. So there are a ton of incredibly important artists and auteurs in Japan that do not reflect the broader views of Japanese society, or rather have a very unique take on a lot of things, especially in comparison to like American perspectives. Yeah, Miyazaki was a literal Marxist organizer. Yep. So remember that. And there's also a ton of mangakas that have come out in support of Palestine. So there's that famous drawing that represents Palestinian resistance. I forget. It's like the kid with his hands behind his back. A bunch of Japanese mangakas actually redrew that in their own art style as well. There was like a sequence, Handala, yeah. There was a sequence of like Japanese mangakas that redrew that. All around the world, artists did that in an effort to show their pro-Palestinian leanings. And a bunch of Japanese mangakas also did that too. I think you don't really know Oda, individualism, Darwinism, and Kojima, misogynist, anti-woke. Oh my God. I don't care, man. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. There are, please stop. People are multifaceted. I literally already accounted for it. And I said that they're not going to correspond to your worldview 100%. Okay. Shut the up. God damn. The perspective I'm talking about is like revolutionary politics or anti-imperialism. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Stop being like, stop refusing to hear what I'm saying and then making up your own mind about it. Okay. Be normal. Jesus Christ. Vodka too. Why do you care so much about sending immigrants back to their own countries? They'll be happier there with their people. Opinion disregarded. Ignore that. Oh, he's just trying to be what? What is this? Aren't you worried that during a congressional hearing, a compilation of all your hyperbolic calls for violence won't be played? Just an observer. Don't worry about it, big dog. Just an observer here. Just an observer that's like fantasizing about the federal government taking action against my least favorite Twitch streamer. I promise you, your life is not going to get better if I get banned. I mean, maybe I will. You know, maybe they'll apply the correct amount of pressure, and then Amazon will say, "Ah, f that. You know, f this guy. Okay, I'm gone. I'm gone from Twitch." Did anything change for you? No. You have to fix your own life. You can't live like this, okay? This is unsustainable. It's unsustainable. You know for a fact my rent goes up by 20 bucks every time you do gaming? Yeah. I will never understand that. If you just spent a little bit more time listening to what I actually had to say instead of hoping that I get banned because someone tuned you up into believing that I'm a bad dude, you'd probably be in a happier place. You'd probably be more cognizant of who is actually causing harm in your life, because it's certainly not a random socialist Twitch streamer that you think is like this evil beacon. You feel me?